Lesson 115. In this lesson, we're learning our first neuter word of the second declension, and that word is oppidum. Oppidum means town. Let's take a look at the different forms of oppidum. In the last lesson, we talked about the three differences between masculine nouns of the second declension and neuter nouns of the second declension. Those differences occur in the nominative singular, the nominative plural, and the accusative plural. Let's take a look at those forms of oppidum. In the nominative singular form of oppidum, we see that the word ends in um, and that's different from what the ending would be if oppidum were masculine. If oppidum were masculine, it would end in us, not in um. Also, in the nominative plural, we see that oppida ends in the letter a. That's different than what the ending would be if this word were masculine. If this word were masculine, the ending would be the letter I. Also, in the accusative plural, we see that oppida ends in the letter a. That's different than what the ending would be if it were masculine. If this word were masculine, then the accusative plural ending would be os. So we have three differences to remember with neuter nouns of the second declension. But besides those three, all the other endings are the same. Let's get some practice with our new neuter word by looking at the exercises. In number 1, ambulo is the verb, and then we have a prepositional phrase which is in oppidum. Notice that in this prepositional phrase, oppidum is in the accusative singular, and since the preposition in is taking the accusative, that means that it means into. So we'll translate in oppidum as into the town. So number 1 will read like this: I am walking into the town. In number 2, sunt is the verb, nautai is the subject, and in oppido is a prepositional phrase. So number 2 will say, the sailors are in the town. In number 3, desiderant is the verb, that means they want or they are longing for. The subject is weary, murum is the direct object, circum oppidum is a prepositional phrase, and edificare is an infinitive that means to build. So number 3 will say, the men want to build a wall around the town. In number 4, narat is the verb. That means he, she, or it is telling. Poeta is the subject. There are 2 indirect objects, pueris and puellisque. Oppidi is a genitive singular that's possessing pueris and puellisque, and fabulas is the direct object. So number 4 will say, the poet is telling stories to the boys and girls of the town. In number 5, desiderant is the verb, weary is the subject, muros is the direct object, oppidi is a genitive singular that's possessing muros, and servare is an infinitive that means to guard. So number 5 will say, the men want to guard the walls of the town. In number 6, habent is the verb, weary is the subject, oppidi is a genitive singular that's possessing weary, and gladios is the direct object. So number 6 will say, the men of the town have swords. In number 7, we have the word sed dividing the sentence into 2 clauses. In the first clause, estis is the verb and pueri is the predicate. In the second clause, sumus is the verb and weary is the predicate. So number 7 says, y'all are boys, but we are men. In number 8, we have 2 clauses, one before the word quod and one after. In the first clause, non possumus means we are not able, servare means to guard, and oppidum is the direct object. In the second clause, habet means he, she, or it has. It's being negated by non. Oppidum is the subject, and muros is the direct object. So number 8 will say, we are not able to guard the town, because the town does not have walls. In number 9, again we have 2 clauses, one before the word quod and one after. In the first clause, arat is the verb, philios is the subject, agricolae is a genitive possessing philios, agros is the direct object, and numquam is an adverb. In the second clause, amat is the verb. There's no other word in that clause to be the subject, so we'll need to use the word he, she, or it. We know from the context of the sentence that we're talking about the son of the farmer, so we'll use the word he as the subject in this clause. Laborare is an infinitive that means to work. So number 9 says, the son of the farmer never plows the fields because he does not like to work. Or, the farmer's son never plows the fields because he does not like to work. In number 10, eidificant is the verb, weary is the subject, silwai is a genitive singular possessing weary, scaphos is the direct object, and numquam is an adverb. So number 10 will say, the men of the forest never build boats.